Here I come again, fellow teachers. How are you? I'm doing good. And this is English for all subject teachers, episode 15. Last time we talked about personal statement. In this video, I'm going to give you something extra bonus, which is too much important. That is CV writing or resume writing. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can structure your CV and win any kind of job application or scholarship application. So stay tuned at the end of my video. You are going to get so many important points from this video. So let's get started, guys. Hit it!
CV or resume writing, part 1, top tips for CV presentation. Hello once again. Today I'm going to share with you the top 14 tips for CV or resume presentation. This will help you to stand out and get any job or scholarship. So let's start. The way you present your CV and application form says a lot about you. You can present a letter of application and a CV well by writing it on a word processor. You may even want to write a letter of application by hand. However, if you have the access to word processing facilities, it's better to use them. That is the top advice I can give you. Let's come to the presentation tips for your CV. A CV should be clear and it must be concise and easy to read. That's the rule of thumb before we start the tips that I'm going to share with you today. So let's start with the first tip. Tip number 1. Write out your CV or letters in a draft or in a draft format. That means it should be a preliminary or initial version of your material, not the end or finished product. Tip number 2. Use active words on CVs to give details of your experience and responsibilities. For example, designed new filing system for your work experience assignment. So this active verbs will help you to achieve the desired force or explanation about your material. Tip number 3. Compile a basic CV which you can keep all the time, maybe on your computer if possible. So once you have done that, tip number 4 will come. Rearrange the contents and pick out relevant points of your basic CV according to the job for which you are applying or the scholarship even. So once you have a basic CV in your computer, it will be easy for you to update your material and do it in a better way. Tip number 5. Use your covering letter to draw attention to the relevant or important parts of your CV. Tip number 6. Do not writing anything negative in your letter, job application letter or CV. Tip number 7. Do not give explanations. For instance, the reason I didn't complete my work experience was blah 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 blah. Don't use such kind of explanations on your CV because you should have to be concise. Tip number 8. If there is anything to discuss, just leave it for the interview. That's what you're supposed to do. Tip number 9. Make sure there are no spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. Nothing, any kind of errors must be eliminated by editing and proofreading. Tip number 10. If you find mistakes, rewrite the whole CV or letter. Just rewrite it down again. That means it will come up with tip number 11, that is, don't make any crossing out or use correction float on your material. That is the rule of thumb. Tip number 12. Keep a CV to 1 page of A4 paper size. The maximum limit is your CV must maximally must be 2 pages in length. That is the maximum limit, so don't exceed this limit. 1 or 2 pages is the right format. Tip number 13. Ask someone to check your CV for content, spelling, and grammar before you send it. This person must be good enough in editing and proofreading. Maybe your teachers, your best friends who are good in the professional editing and proofreading, so they can polish your material well. Tip number 14 is what I advise to my students always. Never ask someone to write a CV for you. If you have done that, you are supposed or you are sure that you have planned to fail. The best advice I can give you is just learn writing a CV. It is easy skill. Writing CV is a really it is an easy job, so you can do it because no one knows you better than yourself in this world. Your CV keeps the identity of yourself, so that's why we don't need to ask someone to write a CV for us. Rather, editing, they can help us in editing, not in writing our material. So remember always presentation of your CV is very much important. The best reason I can give you is your CV may only be looked at for just 6 seconds by examiners in any job or scholarship. That means untidy or tatty CVs, which are the ones with poor handwriting, crossing out or correction float, will probably be thrown out into the garbage box. So that's why presentation of your CV is very much important. I have a bonus for you today, and that is I'm going to give you a sample of CV template. So you can use this template as a model for your own CV so as to win any kind of job or scholarship. First, let's discuss about the components of CV. The maximum limit for this component is 5 up to 6 headings. That's enough. So, but these components are very much useful to include in your CV. First, we're going to talk about letterhead. Under the letterhead, try to include your name, your address, post address, phone address, email address, include this, and then try to discuss about your career goal or ideal job. Just try to be brief, 3 or 4 lines or sentences enough. And then try to discuss about your work experience. First comes your education or qualification, and then fifth is your interests or hobbies, and finally comes references. Under here, your references may be personal and professional. Personal references are those who are well acquainted with you. They might be your friends, your family members. And when it comes to professional, they are your lecturers or your teachers who can tell about your academic potential for any kind of references. Now let me give you the template. So here, as you can see from the page, you put your address and the postcode, and then followed by your phone number and then email address. Then after a few lines, 2 or 1 line, just describe your career goal or ideal job, and then after 2 or 1 line, go to your job experience or work experience you discussed. So when you do this, don't forget that you need to list in order, starting with the most recent experience. That is important and that's a must. So you do it in this way. First, you put your job title in bold, and then discuss or present your dates of employment, company name, organization name, the city or the town in which the organization or company is situated. Then try to discuss about your job responsibility or achievement. Make it short, maybe 3, as you can see from here, 3 is enough as to me. If you have more than 1 job experience, try to include it in this way, in the same fashion as I've discussed earlier. So make it brief as it's given in here. Once you have finished that, you're going to come to your qualification or educational experience. Here you put first the school name, followed by the city or the town the institution is situated, and then you put dates of attendance. Then you express or you explain your qualifications, in what profession you are you are just qualified. That is important. If you have more than one educational qualification, maybe first degree, second degree, or PhD, try to list them out by the same order as I've discussed for your work experience. So you start from the recent educational qualification and then goes on. Then comes interests or hobbies. Here you list out your interests or hobbies that are very much relevant to your job or scholarship application. And then once you have finished that, after a little space, one or two lines again, you put your references. As I've said earlier, your reference might be your personal references and professional references. But try to make very good references based on the criteria given by your scholarship providers or the job application criteria. So you have to use that. If they say professional, just try to put two or three professional references. If there is no criteria, you can put the two of them, personal and the professional references. So this is how you can structure your material well. This will take us to the end of our test session. Thank you very much for being with me. Don't forget, if you have any question or comments, try to put it down your comments under my comment section. Until I see you next Friday, bye for now.